Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the Psych Legal Pop podcast. This is a podcast where we talk about popular culture through the lens of an attorney and a therapist. I'm Brooke Brigham, I'm the attorney.
And I'm Tess Brigham, I'm the therapist.
And today we are going to be talking about the Chrisleys, Todd and Julie Chrisley and their family. The Chrisleys was a very, very popular reality show that was on for like 10 years, almost 9 or
10
10 years.
seasons, yeah.
And I had never seen an episode of it before. And
Neither have
I
I.
always kind of wondered, who are these people? But I just didn't have time to come up to speed. Like the show had already been on for a long time,
I
and
don't have that kind of time.
I don't have that kind of time. So I became interested in them when they were indicted for financial crimes and were convicted of those crimes, went to prison, did a couple of years in prison, and then through the advocacy of their daughter, Savannah, who was on the show, she got into the right rooms with the right people and worked it, and she got President Trump to pardon them. And so they were both released from federal prison in May. And we're going to just kind of go through what happened and why they went to prison. And then also I want to talk about this whole pardon process because it's come up a lot lately in the news. And the presidents are using it a lot more now. I have some numbers of how many times the president has used their pardon power, and it's getting out of control.
Yeah, it is very out of control. I just like to say, and I don't want to be a negative person, but I can't stand these people. I really struggled because we watched this Nightline, Impact Nightline, which is the Chrisleys' Life After Lockup.
Yes, I was caught by that title. I was scrolling through Hulu and it said Life After Lockup, the Chrisleys. And I'm like, well, if you put it that way, yeah, I'm interested. I do want to know about.
Check out the documentary because it's not long.
It's like half
like
an
a
hour.
40 some odd, it's an hour-long show with commercials and all that. So it was I learned a few things about them, but I never watched the show. I thought they seemed like scammers. They felt scammy to me before. And and I think watching them get convicted and then pardoned after a couple years it's
hard to stomach, and
it's hard to
also
stomach. Yes.
because they were indicted by a grand jury, they were found guilty by a jury, their convictions were upheld on appeal.
Yes.
Okay.
But
This is not a politically motivated case, because a
yes.
lot of these pardons, especially the ones that Biden did,
Mhm.
were politically motivated because they were related to crimes that were politically motivated.
Mhm.
So, that's the justification there. But here, this is very similar to what Joe and Teresa Giudice
Mhm.
were convicted of. So in 2019, they were charged in federal court with 12 counts of bank fraud, wire fraud, and tax evasion. And so basically what they were doing is they were taking out these massive loans. I think it was $30 million worth of loans. Now, first, Todd called himself a real estate investor.
Yes.
And
Entrepreneur.
real estate investor. He had another term he used. Basically he I don't know, bought and sold property developer, real estate developer. Bought properties, developed them, sold them, made a profit. So he and Julie took out like $30 million in loans from all of these community banks, smaller banks that maybe like you might have a relationship with them, or they're maybe not as discerning, and I guess maybe as like the larger banks. But anyway, they inflated their net worth and their income and whatnot in order to get these loans, and then filed for bankruptcy. And when they were charged, they basically blamed their accountants.
Yes.
But they were so the key witness against them was this guy Mark Braddock, who was Todd's former partner. And he testified that he helped Todd and Julie falsify documents, and he also said he and Todd were lovers.
Yes, I wanna get into that. The comments that Todd is such a massive piece of shit narcissist disguised as something else. Like, he thinks he's coming across very different. Some of the things that he said about that, about this guy's like, if I ever slept with him, he would be coming
Yeah.
back for seconds and
Yes,
thirds.
yes.
Ugh, do you think I would ever sleep with someone? Basically, what he said was, I would not have sex with this guy because he doesn't have any money and he's not hot enough for
Right,
me.
right.
It's like, I'm sorry, is that not the most bitchy
It
queen?
yes.
I
Well,
mean,
and
I'm
that's
sorry,
another
I don't
thing.
wanna generalize or stereotype,
Yeah.
but isn't that?
He comes off as, I mean, people have been saying this for years. I
Oh,
mean,
yeah.
everyone's like, "This man is straight," you know? I mean, he
Mhm.
comes off as very effeminate, and I know, I mean, that sounds
Yeah.
terrible to say. I know this isn't particularly politically correct, but, anyway, they blamed everybody. They said that, that this guy Mark had hacked into their emails because they introduced all these emails at trial
Yes.
where they were,
Yes.
incriminating. "Oh, no, he hacked into our emails. That's all
Mhm.
fake,"
Yes.
"It's all a hoax." So, they were convicted along with their accountant. His last name was Tarantino. And they were ordered to pay 17 million in restitution. He was sentenced to 12 years and she was sentenced to 7 years. Now,
Mhm.
mind you, the whole time that they're on trial for this, they're out on bail.
Mhm.
So they're charged in 2019, the trial is in 2022, and then they don't go into custody. They don't surrender into custody till 2023.
Mhm.
And so when they went into custody, they had 2 minor children. One is Grayson. And then they, Todd and Julie adopted Todd's granddaughter, who was the daughter of his son from a prior marriage,
Mhm.
who had had substance abuse problems. And she was only like 12 at the time, or
Yeah,
maybe
10.
younger,
I think she's
10,
12 now or
12.
something.
So then Savannah became the mother to these
Mhm.
2 minor children. And I'm not quite sure how she supported them because, they're still living in this big house. I don't know
Yeah.
who's paying for it, paying
Yeah,
for the lifestyle.
that's odd too because how are you making that happen? Because they were like, "Well, Savannah, she stepped up. She was the sole breadwinner. She started a podcast, masked singer, special forces." And again, I think all of those things pay well. And
Mhm.
I'm sure she gets lots of downloads on our podcast, but us as
Mhm.
podcasters know that it's not, it's not like someone's backing up a Brinks truck and dumping
Right.
it. And
It's not enough to maintain that lifestyle. It's
yeah.
probably enough to pay your bills for a couple months, maybe.
Yes, with that lifestyle. It would be enough if they were living in a nice condo somewhere,
Right.
apartment, and living a very simple life. But yeah, it seemed like she was still living this crazy life, pulling out this drawers. We have all these kids that come here, so it's like a goddamn 7-Eleven in a drawer that
I
she
know, that
opens
was
up.
weird. Is that a
I was
good
like, "Really?
idea?
Really afford all this? I don't think you can. You owe 17 million in restitution." And then they're fighting to get that money back. I don't understand how that works. If you pardon someone, so then the 17 million they owe, they don't owe anymore?
Well, no, they still owe it. I have no idea what they mean by they're trying to get some of that back. They did not explain that at all.
Yeah, they say that at
So,
the end. They said they had paid they have paid some of the 17 million and now they're trying to get they're fighting to get it back.
well, they're not
That's
gonna
what I
get it
remember.
back.
No.
They're not gonna get it back. No, they were, and that's the thing. These people obviously loved being on reality TV. They
Mhm.
loved the attention. They loved this illusion of wealth, and they apparently were willing to do anything to keep this facade going. And, finally, at some point, you're gonna get caught. You cannot do this game of cards forever, or house of cards, I should say. So everything really came crashing down, and then, of course, they're acting like they're victims, and of course, when they get to prison, they're shocked. Oh my God, there's no air conditioning. Julie's like, I'm just thinking about how can I get through the summer with no air conditioning. This is the kind of stuff that they're worried about. Okay, so Todd and Julie have a lot of complaints.
Mhm.
They first, are complaining and blaming the jury. And Todd
Mhm.
says, this was not a jury of his peers. There were no multimillionaires or people in the film industry on the jury.
Yeah, guess what, Todd? You're not a multimillionaire. I think I
Right.
have more money than you. And guess what? You're
You're not in
not
the
in the
film
film
industry.
industry. I
No.
hate to be the one to tell you, you're not Brad Pitt, honey. Like,
Also, a
what the
jury.
what?
Do you really think a jury of your peers literally means a jury of your peers? No. It's kind of a
S-
euphemism.
So you know
It's
what? If you were a Brooke, if you're a multimillionaire in the film industry, you're okay with tax evasion. Eh,
right.
it's
Yeah, I
fine
would never convict another multimillionaire in the film industry of tax evasion because
because
that's just
you
what
know
we do.
because we all have accountants that we
Yeah,
work with for a
stealing
long
from us.
time, and they
Yeah.
steal from us, and then they get into our emails, and then they bust into our email accounts, and then
Yeah,
they
they
claim
set
that
us
that we're sleeping with them.
Yeah, they set us up. And also, it wasn't just the jury. This was a heavily Democratic county
Yes.
with a judge appointed by Obama.
Interesting. So it was the Democrats. It's the
The
Democrats' fault that they stole
Democrats.
all this money and got in trouble.
Yep. And they in the trial, they were allowed to portray them as an entitled white family with money to burn. Again,
I'm sorry,
is that not accurate?
because we see in the first episode of the show, you tell us that you two spend something like, was it $300,000 a
Oh, on
year on
clothes.
clothes?
Yeah, and that closet
Oh,
that closet
oh
of
my
his.
God. That's,
I mean, I'm sorry. Mariah Carey doesn't even have that many clothes. I mean,
yeah,
come
it's
on.
unreal. It's just all of it. Like, it's so hard being white and privileged.
Yeah.
God, I mean,
God,
people are
you can't
just
get a fair
against you.
trial.
You cannot get a fair trial, even though you absolutely did this and you were caught red-handed and there was all these things that do it. But if you're white, hey, the world is just against you.
Yeah. So then they also have a lot of complaints about what life was like in prison. Now,
Yes.
I am, we both heavily
Yes.
support prison reform. We think prisoners should be treated humanely.
Yes.
And however, it was just the way that they complained.
Mhm.
Of course, they complained about the food, and Julie was didn't know how she was going to get through the summer without any air conditioning because the air
Mhm.
conditioning is always going out. Um, and yeah, I'm sure it was awful. Prison
Yeah.
is meant to be a punishment,
Yes.
but
Yes.
you should have a minimum amount of accommodations. Who knows? I'll give him some slack on that, but it's just the way that they come off. You know,
Yes.
they come off terribly, no matter what they say. So,
Well, yeah, sorry. Keep going.
oh, well, okay. Now I want to like switch over to talk about Savannah, and I don't know how she pulled this off,
Mhm.
honestly. I mean, I do and I don't. So, she was on a mission to
Yeah.
get her parents a pardon or anything, any sort of
She's like,
relief
"I'm not raising these
whatsoever.
2 kids. I'm in my
Yeah,
20s. I look
yeah,
great.
I
I need
know.
to go live my life."
It's the prime of my life. I look the
Yeah.
best I'm ever gonna look. I can't be saddled with this.
Mhm.
So, she brings up this whole okay. She kind of gives the same little speech. She ends up speaking at the Republican convention,
Mhm.
this last one with Trump. And she brings up how this was prosecuted in the most heavily Democratic district in the state by an Obama appointed judge. And she says the prosecutor called the Chrisley family the Trumps of the South. And she says, it was meant as an insult, but I take it as a badge of honor.
Okay.
So she's going around the country talking to whoever, trying to get into any rooms or anywhere
Mhm.
she can get to meet the right people. She has a lot of Trump hats in a lot of different colors.
Yes.
Looks like custom designed. She even had a hat and a jacket that matched.
Yes,
And the
yes.
jacket had her name embroidered on it.
Yes. I'm
It's
sure Trump's
very,
selling that stuff.
very fancy. Um, so then she somehow gets the attention of this woman, Alice Johnson, who is Trump's pardon czar. Now, you'll
Mm.
recall Alice Johnson is the woman who Kim Kardashian helped get a
Mhm.
pardon from Trump, the
Mhm.
last administration. And so now Alice is, doing this for Trump. And look, I I don't have a problem like with Kim Kardashian has used her celebrity to help a lot of people in prison.
Mhm.
And you know, it's not it's not that it's just the Chrisleys again, there's a paper trail, there's a record of
Mhm.
proof of financial crimes to which they were convicted and upheld on appeal.
Yes.
And they're trying to say that the justice system was weaponized against
Mhm.
the Chrisleys. Like this is some sort of political thing. And it's like,
Yeah.
no, this is not. It's a financial crime.
Okay, and you know what else? No one gave a shit about your family. Like, I'm sorry, you were not even on a reality show on Bravo or MTV. You were on a reality show on the USA Network.
Oh, wow.
Like a fifth tier network. You were a D-list celebrity
Mhm.
at best.
Mhm.
Nobody was going after you guys. You did this and got
Right.
caught.
Your parents did this.
Your
Yeah.
parents did this and
Yeah,
they got
she
caught.
didn't have anything to do with it, I don't think,
Yeah.
but um so yeah, so that's how it happened, and it seemed to happen fairly easily for her and fairly quickly. And I have to say that if she wasn't um beautiful
Mhm.
and blonde
Yes.
and articulate and all that, Trump wouldn't have given her the time of day.
No.
He
No,
and
he would not have.
he says on the phone, they show this phone call where he's calling her to tell them that he's going to
Mhm.
sign these pardons. And he's like, "I hear your parents are terrific people." Eh, okay, do you even know anything about them or
Yeah,
what they
from
did or
whom?
what they're accused of or
Yeah,
just because you're hot and your parents seem like terrific people, here's your pardon.
yeah. Yep. Yep, yep, yep. And I think that in this, Impact Nightline,
Mhm.
they were interviewing one of their, legal correspondents. I'm sorry, I didn't take his name
Oh,
down, but
Dan
I thought
Abrams.
yeah, I thought he made a very, very good point, which is he's like, you cannot, every pardon is different. It's
Mhm.
apples and oranges. You cannot see each pardon differently. And he went back through and he said, exactly what you said. This was an independent thing. They were
Mhm.
convicted, that the appeals held up, they did this, this is not, their experience wasn't Alice Johnson's experience. It wasn't
Right.
all of the people that Kim Kardashian's been fighting for. These are people that were wrongly convicted, that had been in prison and death row
Harsh
for 20
sentences,
harsh
yeah.
sentences, 20, 30 years, but like they were going to die. I mean, this is people of color, like
Very
this is a
different.
very different situation
Do you
than
know
Me
what
Too. And up,
Alice Johnson just had some drugs in her car that her boyfriend put in there,
yeah, a
and
million
she
years
got
ago.
got like a minimum 20-year sentence or
Yeah.
something. Yeah.
So that's the problem. That's the problem.
Yeah.
Anywho,
And so Todd says, I understand how it could look like political favoritism, but she's lost a lot along the way. I guess talking about Savannah. Oh, and then they even brought up that there's talk of a congressional run
yes,
for
yes,
Savannah.
Savannah Chris. You know
Okay,
what? In
this
this
is
crazy
another
world, another reality person is now going to run. Oh, this is great.
but I mean, you know what? It let's say she had a history of anything related to government, law, community organizing, anything. She has no experience. She's not qualified to run for Congress. I mean,
That
I mean,
hasn't stopped anyone, Brooke.
it hasn't stopped anyone, I know, but what happened along the way? I mean, honestly, the Constitution, I think that the founding fathers envisioned that these Congress people would just be kind of people in their community who wanted to serve the government.
Mhm.
They didn't need the money. They would go to Washington for 2 years and then come back and let someone else then go.
Mhm.
It's now just turned into something where it's been bastardized. But no, she's not qualified to run for Congress. Why are we even talking about
I
this?
don't know. I don't know, because she pulled off this amazing stunt, but it's like, and they're sort of skirting around this because, again, this is alleged. I don't know if this is true, but what I had heard was that someone gave them a donation, like
Yeah, I had heard that too. They
that
made a donation to the
the
Trump
campaign,
campaign. Yeah.
yeah, and that that's what did it. So again, I just want to say, being being white, being attractive, and having the money allowed her to get into the places in order
Mhm.
to get this pardon. I mean, they're acting like the way Julie and Todd act like that Savannah is some kind of crusader who's
Mhm.
been out, and she's like, I got into rooms, in any room that anyone would ever speak to me, and blah blah blah. It's like, okay, I'm sure this was a lot, and you did do a lot for your parents, and it was okay. And I don't know what she thinks about her parents. I don't know if she thinks they're guilty or whatever it is, but this was not, I'm sorry, but they're acting like this was this 20-year battle. And I mean, really, this was like a couple of years here.
Yeah,
I mean,
they served 2.5 years. And
mhm.
again, how did she get on the stage at the Republican National Convention?
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah. How? And so that was one of the things about their whole, oh, well, a couple things. So people are talking about, like, Todd Chrisley makes a great reality person because he'll say anything that's outrageous on camera. And that unfortunately has become, and this is what makes a great reality star.
mhm.
And this is very unfortunate because we're now applauding people and praising people, and for that just say outrageous things. That just say things that, whether they're true or not, whether they're real or not, whether they hurt people or not. Yeah, that this has become sort of this acceptable thing that people are just allowed to, okay, just say all this
Mhm.
stuff. And this is why he's so great and special. He says all these crazy things. And then he goes into this whole thing about Savannah. He's such a narcissist that he can't even say, I'm really proud of her or whatever. He says something
Mhm.
around that. He's like, I thought to myself, God, I did such a good job raising her. Like, he says
So
something to
he's
that
taking
effect.
credit for it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's like, I'm so good. I am so good at this. I did it too well, that she is so brilliant that she did this for us. It was just like, God, you're such a narcissist. You can't even give her moment in the sun.
Right. And I think they started planning even before the pardons, it seems to me,
Hmm.
that they were already starting to produce and film for this
Yes.
new reality show. So this new show is coming out soon. I think it's called Back to Reality. And
Hmm.
they film, I think, all of Savannah's activity, trying to get the pardons. And then they film when Todd and Julie actually come out, walk
Mhm,
out of the
mhm,
prison
mhm,
and come home. And at the end, they show a bunch of scenes from this upcoming reality show.
mhm,
And there's lots of drama. There's an estranged daughter, Todd's daughter from his first marriage,
mhm,
Lindsay, who um she uh she accused him and I think one of the other brothers of trying to blackmail her over a sex tape. Like
Oh,
he
I
has
always
a
thought this had to do with Savannah. Oh, I'd heard
no.
about this, and I always thought that had to do with Savannah. I'm like, God, Savannah's very forgiving of her parents.
Yeah, how does your father get a sex tape of you
I don't know.
and then use it as blackmail?
I don't
That's
know.
that's disturbing. And like she wrote a letter, and I think this came into evidence in the I don't know if it was in the trial or in the sentencing, that he had threatened her and,
Mhm.
you
Which
know
I think that he is Mr. Nice. I'm Mr. Jovial, Mr. Nice, and I think that he
yeah.
is a monster. I would
Oh,
put my money on the fact that he is a
totally.
monster behind the scenes. And
Totally.
so this was one of the themes of this nightline was that, right, this idea about political and political power. And the Chrisleys really, I will say this much, because they do say, hey, if you're given a pardon, would anyone not take it? And I'm like, yeah, anyone would take the
Mhm.
pardon. No one's going to turn down the pardon. No one has an issue with that. It makes complete sense. You don't want to be there. but all of it, just the way they talk out of both sides of their mouth about everything, like that they were, this family that was in this democratic area, and because they were MAGA, they were, people were against them, and then you then get on your this platform and say, well, we have more pride than take a pardon from Biden. We would never take a pardon from
Oh,
Biden.
yeah,
And it's like,
please.
please, you just told me if someone would give you a pardon, anyone would take it. It's like, which one is it? It's like,
Yeah,
yeah, you would. You would take a pardon from Biden. Don't
yeah.
lie. And then also he gets into this when we get into this whole thing about Hunter Biden and some of these other things, and they want to throw that in everybody's face. It's like, so which one is it? Do you want
Mhm.
to get political here? Because you've made this political, and it's because of your political beliefs that you now are out.
Exactly.
So you can't have it both ways, Todd.
Yeah.
You
And
twit.
again, the
Fucking
the
hate him.
prosecution of Hunter Biden was politically motivated. He
Mhm.
was convicted of 2 counts. One was for lying on a application to purchase a handgun. They
Mhm.
asked if you have any substance abuse problems, and he lied and said no.
Mhm.
The other one was because 1 year during the throes of his, meth and alcohol addiction, he didn't file a tax return.
Mhm. The
That's what he was
Chrisleys didn't
convicted
file
of.
tax returns from 2013 to 2016 apparently.
Yeah, yeah. So,
So you can't you
okay.
you cannot sit there and act like you're better than Hunter Biden. And this is not a political thing at all. Like I'm not
No.
listen, we are if you listen to our show, you know which way our politics lie. It's not that at all. I have such a problem with these people who, Joe and Teresa, all of these people that just, you know, steal. Just steal
Mhm.
and steal and steal while the rest of us are following the rules. And so some of this is why this has such a bad taste in people's mouths is there's a bunch of us that follow the rules, file our taxes, pay the things, do the stuff. We're not inflating things. We're not lying. I don't have $300,000 a year in clothes. Like I'm not living this lifestyle. And so, yeah, there has to be some sort of punishment if you're going to steal and lie.
Well, and
Yeah.
yeah, and also look, if if Todd and Julie took out these loans for a legitimate purpose, there would be some substantive, tangible result, like a building,
Yes.
you know,
Yeah.
like some real estate, okay, a development of some sort. There's nothing. You know where that money went? Into their closet,
Mhm.
into their home, into their lavish lifestyle. That's what they spent the 30 million on.
Because if why would this so they're claiming that their accountant lied and did all this stuff behind their back
To then
to
give them the money?
yeah, to then give them the money and that you take what? Wouldn't you then spend I mean, wouldn't there be a paper trail of this guy Braddock, Mark Braddock? Wouldn't there be a
Mhm.
paper trail of all the money that he spent?
Yeah, where'd the money go? If you have 30 million in loans, where did the money go?
Mhm.
Whose hands got on it? I mean, but that's we're sitting here talking as if this
Yeah.
is I mean, it's not true. They took the money and they spent it on their lavish lifestyle, period. They have nothing to show for it. Didn't go
Mhm.
anywhere else. If it did, oh, their defense would have I'm sure their defense lawyers, if they could have traced this money to some other
Yeah.
source that it went not to the Chrisleys, but from the bank to somebody else, wouldn't that have come out in trial?
Well, and we know from Karen Reed that people can figure out metadata, right? And so you, if this guy is getting into your emails and writing these emails on your like in your behalf that you
Mhm.
don't notice at all, like you
Mhm.
never notice these emails coming in and out because he deleted them or whatever. You of all the times that he did this, there was never a time where you could prove that you weren't in front of a computer.
Mhm.
Like, didn't I would think they would have to prove like that, if this was your defense, wouldn't you like go and search and go see, I was
Of
here at this
course.
time. I was here at this time. There would be all those things. They did it. End of story.
Yeah. No, there's no evidence that they didn't do it.
Yeah.
Um,
But now they're going to focus on prison reform. And you know what? Julie has made friends that she's going to have until she dies.
oh yeah, I bet.
And I would really I mean, I wrote down in my notes, like, Let's see what they do now. Let's see. These two are all for prison reform, and they've made all these friends, and they've had all of these things. Again, they have zero stories of anyone. I mean, I don't know if it was all cut out, but you talk about all these lifelong friends that you've made that are so special to you, but you don't have any stories, anything like that. I'm very curious. I mean, let's see. Let's see. Are
Oh,
these
but
people going to be on your show? I mean,
but uh, Todd read 116 books, including several by Maya Angelou.
yes. So that really helped him.
Okay.
That really got him to see what? Because you know what? Todd and Maya persecuted the two of them, you know.
Julie.
No, 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 no. I mean, like he relates to Maya so
Maya
much being
Angelou.
a
Oh yes,
poor black woman
a black woman he can
who's
relate
been
to like so
because now
well.
now that he's in prison, he can he's like Maya Angelou and I were just so interconnected with our stories, our lives, our all of these things. I mean, again, if you're sitting there saying that you were targeted because of white
Yeah,
because of
because
your white entitlement,
he's
like then
white and he's a Republican in a Democratic district and he's white and they're discriminating against him.
yes, yes. And so if you can come out of what you just went through and not be able to say, you know what, this system, the system's unjust. I mean, Savannah's talking about it. She's like, I didn't realize our system was so, oh God, how broken it is and how
Well,
there's so
because
many
they've never
problems.
had to deal with it. They've never
Yeah.
come in contact with it.
Yes. She wants to have a political viewers. And then she wants to, her goal is to speak to younger viewers about politics or about, I don't know. How about you tell people not to steal? I don't know.
How about just get a real job?
But Todd and Julie, they're getting away from this horrible Democratic area that they're in. They're going back to Charleston, South Carolina. They're going to convert a mansion into a hotel for a
Wow.
new reality show on Lifetime. I'm like, oh,
Yeah,
that's great,
they've
great.
built this new reality show around turning a mansion into a hotel.
Yep, yep.
And
Because
also Savannah trying to get them a pardon.
yeah. So what will be very interesting is this is my prediction, not to be like Heather McDonald, but this is my prediction, which is I think 10 years from now something else is gonna happen. Like they're grifters.
Yeah.
Grifters gotta grift.
Yeah.
Grifters have got to grift. So I really do believe that maybe things will be calm for a little bit, but these two are gonna get back on it and something's gonna happen.
Mhm.
And I think they'll get caught again. They
Yeah,
will.
because they don't have the capacity to do anything legally.
Yeah,
They
because that would
don't
require them to work, and actually
to work hard. Yeah.
being a real estate developer is a lot of work, and it's a lot of risk and work and energy, and it takes a long time. I mean, like, it takes a long time to do that. So
Yeah,
that's
well,
just too much for them.
and at this point, no bank is gonna give them a loan.
Oh, that's true.
So they're gonna
Yeah.
have to find an investor, and I don't know who would be stupid enough to invest that. No, you know what they're gonna do? They're gonna continue to do reality shows, they're gonna hawk products, they're just because they can't do anything else
Yeah.
anymore,
And
you
they're just going
know?
to have to recycle their old clothes. Do you know what I mean? I don't think they're going to
Right.
accumulate a ton of wealth. But again,
That
wouldn't the government seize all of their assets? Isn't that how that works?
Yeah, I mean,
If you've
I don't
stolen all
know.
this money?
I mean, yeah, if they have a restitution of 17 million, at some point, yeah, the government is it's only been a couple years and maybe I don't know, they said they paid some of it back, so maybe the government was satisfied with, them they were I don't know. I have no idea. I don't know what they
Mhm.
have. I don't know if they're still in the same house or is this a different house? I'm not really sure. But also they're still convicted felons
Mhm.
because one
That's true.
even if you're pardoned, you know, it's
That
you're
is true.
the conviction is still on your record.
So don't lie
Um
about that when you're applying for your next loan.
yeah, who in the world would be crazy enough to give these people money? I
Uh,
don't know.
but one of the questions that they asked was, will viewers be able to accept the new Chrisleys? Like, are people going to be accepting of them now? And
Mhm.
unfortunately, I think, yeah. I think
Yeah.
sadly, again, I think the way our country is right now with the politics, I think politically there are people that are going to follow them because this is their way of thinking and their beliefs, and
Mhm.
okay, pro them. And then I think there's lots of people that just, it doesn't matter to them who the person is. If that person says funny, outrageous things, they'll
Right,
just
if he's
go along with
entertaining.
it. If he's
And,
entertaining, and
I
I
can
just,
see they
mm,
it is an entertaining family, I can see that.
yeah, I can see how he's entertaining
Yeah.
in his own ways. I just think he's such a
He's
narcissistic
just he's just kind
twit.
of a
I can't
douche.
stand him. And she, the wife, I mean, Julie, I don't, I thought she was a little better than him. I thought she was, at least I could stomach her a bit more, but she's no better,
Yeah,
in some ways, but she's less of a narcissist, that's for
yeah.
sure. It wasn't all about her.
Well, I did a little bit of research on pardons, and
Yes.
so I find it interesting that, the Constitution gives the president this almost unlimited power because, we were writing this Constitution because we didn't want to have a king, we wanted
Mhm.
to limit the power of the government and the checks and balances in the different branches. But in the Constitution, it says the president has the power to grant pardons for offenses against the United States. It's limited to federal offenses only, and it excludes impeachment. So they did put that in there. They
Mhm.
figured there could be some rogue president who gets impeached and then pardons themselves. And the Supreme Court has upheld this um, broad and unlimited power, and the president can pardon you at any time, either before, during, or after conviction, even before legal proceedings have been initiated, which is what Joe Biden did with his family and
Mhm.
also the members of the House Select Committee who, did the January 6th
Mhm.
investigation, um, and Dr. Fauci, because he knew that
Yeah.
people were going to go after these people and it was going to be completely politically motivated.
Mhm.
And honestly, I don't blame him for pardoning his son because
Yeah, neither do
his
I.
son, I mean, like I said, he was in the throes of addiction and did a couple stupid things.
Well,
And
yeah, and if this was Eric Trump, I would understand why Trump would do it.
yeah,
Like, I
I would
don't,
do
I
it,
mean, whether you
he,
like Biden or not, you get why someone
yeah,
would do that. Yeah.
exactly. That's a kind of a no-brainer. So yeah, the president can just do it on their own unilaterally, or a lot of requests for pardons come through the office of the pardon attorney, and the
Mhm.
people review the pardons. And so that used to be the process much more, is
Mhm.
they would go through this office, and then, at the end of the president's term, or sometimes the end of the year, or whatever, they would go through these recommendations from the office saying, I think you should pardon these people, and this is why. And it's gotten a bit out of control, I think.
Yeah. Very out of
At
control.
so like if you go back, you can look online, you can see the number of pardons that different presidents gave. And some of them are interesting, like Jimmy Carter, he pardoned all the people who were um prosecuted for, draft dodgers from the Vietnam
Mm.
War.
Mhm.
After the Civil War, Andrew Jackson pardoned a lot of ex-Confederates. So
Mhm.
a lot of these are political things where things happen and they try to right wrongs,
Yes.
which is part of what the pardon power is about. But
Mhm.
um and even recently, Clinton only either pardoned or commuted sentences for 459 people. George W. Bush 200 people, Obama 1927 people.
Oh, wow.
But he did a lot of people who had been, they had those really harsh drug
Yes, yes.
sentences
Oh,
for
ridiculous. Yeah, 30 years
nonviolent,
for weed
right,
in a
nonviolent drug
car.
related crimes. Um, Trump in his first term had 1,700 pardons. Biden, one term president, 4,245.
And I can understand if you're not a Biden fan, you might be like, "Oh boy, these Democrats love to pardon people." Yeah, I mean, I guess so.
Yeah, but again, his also were a lot of them were, for these nonviolent crimes, and that includes, like I said, commuting sentences. This is not
Mhm.
just setting all these people free or whatever.
Yeah.
Because like he commuted the sentences of everyone who was on federal death row,
Mhm.
like all but 3 people. Stuff like that. It's like it's the sentencing, like trying to right the wrongs of the sentencing.
Yeah.
So, but then Trump on day 1 of this second term,
Mhm.
pardoned 1,600 people for January 6th related crimes.
Yes. Yes.
And it seems like Trump is always talking about a pardon
Yeah,
now.
he loves to pardon. He just
Yeah.
loves, and this is part of this problem, which is what so the Chrisleys now have to, because we can see very clearly a pardon is there to right a wrong.
Mhm.
So what okay, so now they're making it this whole political thing, right? You're back to the politics of we are just some poor white entitled people, and we were with money to burn, and we were wrongfully we were wrongfully convicted of this thing that I don't know where I was going with this. I just lost my train of thought. But it
Well, it's political rather than, like you said, for clemency or righting wrongs or correcting things in history
yes.
that.
Oh, sorry. So yes, and so they're having to make this political, but it's like I really would have liked to ask them, like, so please explain to us, how are they writing, what is the wrong? What
Yeah.
is the wrong that's being right? And according to the Chrisleys, well, we're
We're
innocent.
innocent, yeah.
But that's very different than someone who says, yeah, there was weed in my car, but I got 30 years or whatever it is.
Mhm.
I don't know.
Yeah, because
I
that's
had a
one.
hard time with this. These people, I just wanted to smack them.
Yeah, because if you're applying for a pardon or clemency, that's one of the elements is
Yes.
remorse, rehabilitation, all that kind of stuff, whether it's a pardon or it's, parole, probation,
Mm-hmm.
whatever.
Mm-hmm. Some awareness.
Some awareness and some good reason, but now, I don't know, it's
Ugh.
just anyone who wants one. And look, this is really, if the tables were turned and these people were Democrats and Biden pardoned them, I'd be saying the same thing.
Yeah. Yeah.
Honestly, this has nothing to do with politics or Trump in my mind. It's like these people don't deserve a pardon.
No. They don't, and
And
that's part of this problem is we are bastardizing the pardon. Pardons have now become political.
mhm.
And they become political, and they've become I believe about money, you
Yeah.
know? I mean, I'm sorry. I just find it hard to believe that there wasn't something else going on here.
Yeah, I remember hearing about a large donation. I
Yeah.
don't know where it came from. I don't think it came directly from the Chrisleys because I don't think they have any money
Yeah.
except for whatever advance they're getting for this TV show. So
Yeah.
I don't
That's
know.
yeah, and did you hear that one thing that they were showing old scenes of the show when Savannah was much younger? She's like, "Oh, thank God for plastic surgery." I'm like,
I
"Oh God,
know
so
how much
you are a
plastic
beautiful young
surgery.
woman. I thought she was
Yeah.
prettier before she did all this weird crapple. I mean, this stuff to her face. You're 28." Like, you know?
All these people are so vain and
Ugh, yeah.
superficial.
Oh, yeah, the whole thing about Julie being caught without, her signature blonde hair and
Hmm.
la la la. And, you really weren't making, I mean, you were talking to us about the conditions in prison, but the way you were kind of describing your life, Todd, it was like, so you got up every day, I went to the library, I read 119 books, I worked out, I got jacked, never afraid of they were never afraid of their being hurt themselves. And so it's
Yeah,
like,
exactly.
so you were never afraid. So the thing that people, you're never afraid, you were not targeted, and you're telling me again the conditions are awful, and I'm with you, and I don't, for even for you, Chrisley, Todd Chrisley, I can't stand you. I still feel like you need to be treated, I believe you should be treated humanely, so I'm with you on that. But the way you're describing, what your prison life, it was a little bit like,
Well, they
okay.
were in they were in a camp. They said that
Hmm.
because I don't know who it was in the show made a comment of how, well, if you qualify for camp, you should qualify for home confinement. And it's
It's
like,
like,
well,
no.
not really. But no, but these, I believe these were camps. This is low level
Mhm.
security. These are financial crimes.
So
They're
you
in there
yeah.
with other people who committed financial crimes. They're not in there with hardened killers and
Mhm.
hardened criminals.
Yes.
So yeah, that's why they weren't scared, was because
Yes.
everyone was kind of in the same boat.
Ugh, but it was just kinda like, I wouldn't do any work for anyone for the government because I guess Julie was driving a forklift, like,
Mhm.
maybe planting
She
doing the
had a
garden, maybe the
she had a
barber s
job for like
yeah.
5 cents an hour or whatever they
Yeah, and
paid.
so she
Yeah.
had it, Julie was out there keeping busy. And he's like, "I'm not gonna give any of my money to the government. This is what I did. I wrote, I read, I did." It was just like, "Okay."
Well, yeah, we know you don't give money to the government. You were convicted of tax evasion.
Yes, no shit. We all know that.
Yeah. You just
You don't even
told
pay
on
your
yourself.
taxes.
Yeah, and yeah, you just told on yourself, Todd. What are you
Yeah.
doing?
Yes,
Okay,
yes.
well, learned a lot. Learned a lot. So,
Yeah, I know. Would you watch the show?
I would maybe watch like a couple episodes out of curiosity.
Mhm.
Maybe, but again, I don't even think I could find it or when it's on or if it's on. I don't even know if I get USA Network.
Yeah. Yeah, I
So,
don't know even how to access it. Well, this other one's gonna be on Lifetime. I mean, I didn't watch the show to begin with, so I'm certainly not gonna support them now. I am one of these people that has a problem. I have a hard time, once I kinda get, especially if you're a reality star. Actors, I think, are a little different. Reality star is based on who you are. And
right.
you told us you weren't acting like a real estate developer. You weren't acting like you had all this money. You told us you did. And then
Mhm.
but you don't. So I don't know who you are. So
Yeah, I don't, yeah.
quite frankly, I do think that that's a reason not to tune in. That's just me. But one thing before, okay, do you remember what their first meal was after all the shitty food?
Pizza Hut.
Pizza Hut. Not even a good pizza place.
Yeah.
Not even like, "Oh, this is the best." I mean, I could see wanting pizza for sure, but,
Yeah.
like, "This is the best pizza in our this is my favorite pizza." Whatever. Pizza Hut? Pizza Hut? Ugh, really?
Trash.
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 And, their first trip, he went to Nordstrom's because, of course, you've just been you were convicted for financial crimes. You got so lucky, you made a deal with the devil, and you got a pardon. Where's the first place you go? Nordstrom's, because he's
I
gotta
think
get
I'd wanna go
clothes.
home.
Yeah, he's gotta get
Don't you
clothes.
have enough clothes? What
Yes!
happened to all that
Apparently
closet
not.
full of clothes? Where did
He's
it
jacked
go?
now, Brooke. He's jacked. He needs
Oh,
new clothes.
okay.
All that money on clothes, that big closet, can't wear any of it. He's too jacked now. Too way too jacked for all of this. And then we go through this whole story of him being like, "Well, the paparazzi was chasing me around Nordstrom, so I put a paper bag on my head, and I blah 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 blah." And it's like, you're not Beyonce. You're not. You were acting like, "Well, if they aren't going to leave me alone, I'm just going to keep the bag on my head." I'm like, "Oh dear God!" Like,
Well, and then Savannah and her mother, where do they stop? At the butcher shop.
because she had
Cause
to show her favorite butcher
yeah,
place.
and that's where they caught the picture of her, with
Hmm.
her hair, not dyed. And I
God
actually think
forbid.
she looked better as a brunette, but okay, yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't understand these people,
Ugh. This was
but
this When this whole thing came out and I saw this, this annoyed me then, and it annoys me. It annoys me now, but I don't know why I'm annoyed, because this is just par for the course of the world that we live in today, you know? So,
unfortunately,
and hey, I'm so sorry if you're white and entitled.
it's
The
hard.
government, it's hard. It's
It's hard
really
out there
hard.
for a white guy.
Yeah. I mean, the government's going to come after you, and people are going to go into your emails and claim that you slept with them. That could happen to anybody. So white people,
Oh, look out, white people.
look out. Look out.
Look alive, look alive. Okay, well, thank you so much for
Yeah.
joining us. If you enjoy us and you would like extra content other than what's on our free feed, we have a Patreon, where you can get these episodes ad free. We do a weekly bonus episode about pop culture and talk a little bit more about our lives. And for our higher tier, we do special bonus content every month. We do a true crime just for the Patreon, and we do a Ask Us Anything. We are on YouTube. We would
Mhm.
appreciate it if you would subscribe not only to the podcast, but subscribe to our YouTube channel, Psych Legal Pop, on all platforms. That would help us a lot. It would help us if you gave us a review, 5-star review. And we are on all the social medias. So Psych Legal Pop everywhere.
Yes.
Spread the word.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.